Joining me now is Stephen Miller, former senior advisor to President Trump and founder of America First Legal. Kurt Schlichter, senior columnist at townhall.com and author of the book We'll Be Back. And Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA and author of the great book, The College Scam. All right, Stephen, I want to come to you first, and I appreciate you guys all joining me. Joe Biden is basically saying that it's acceptable to target Republicans with the full force of the federal government, even using the FBI.
Well, that's exactly what he's saying. Let's not forget this is the party that locked people in their homes. In blue states and blue cities, they took away people's most essential freedoms. At this very moment in time, they're masking children in Democrat cities like Philadelphia, depriving them of an education. Muriel Bowser is depriving black students of the right to even attend school because they haven't received a vaccination. And of course, this is an administration that has launched a political raid of his chief political opponent's home to seize and steal his property and his documents. So what you are seeing is a classic technique of tyrants and authoritarians, where they use the methods of dictatorship while accusing their opponents of being fascist. This administration is authoritarian and repressive. This administration is violating our laws, including violating our immigration laws with impunity and helping murderous criminal cartels violate our sovereignty every single day.
You know, it's rich to call Republicans fascist. Charlie, I mean, I look at this, and he's talking about the MAGA movement, which I know people well who support Donald Trump. I think the whole panel does. And these are people who believe in God, country, faith, hard work, patriotism. They salute the flag. They stand up for the national anthem. These are traditional Americans, and they're calling them fascists?
And their language is precise for a reason. I mean, what if you actually encountered a fascist, then what wouldn't you do against that person? They're calling half the country fascist because then that justifies a Patriot Act 2.0 type response, be able to spy, infiltrate, monitor, subvert political groups that they don't like. You see, this is the problem with what's happening right now in the Democrat Party. Their regime is falling apart. Their policies are unpopular. People are realizing how transparently awful they are at governing. The only thing they have left is the power of the few against the many. The FBI, the DOJ, Facebook, Google. And the way they're able to do that is call half the country fascist. Stephen said it perfectly. They're the fascists. If they all of a sudden want to start to use every comparison from the 1930s, then fine. Which are the ones that are using the FBI for political purposes? As Stephen said, locking people in their homes and doing favors for their political donors. Fascism is state control of business. And boy, does it look like Joe Biden is using government for his cronies and his business purposes against the will of the American people.
You know, Charlie, you make a good point, because if you had something to run on, if you had a record to run on, you would run on it. But if you look at inflation, gas, border, crime, Afghanistan, Joe Biden has nothing to run on. So what does he do? He attacks Republicans with, outrageous terms like this. But Kurt, I want to come to you. The DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, was asked about the Biden semi-fascist comment and how that squared with his calls for unity. Watch.
The one thing that President Joe Biden has always been consistent. And he has always been somebody who does what my grandfather used to do, which is speak it plain. Say it plain to the American people. And what we see right now is a full frontal attack by these extreme MAGA Republicans in this country.
He's consistent, Kurt. What say you?
Oh, he's consistent, all right, Sean. He's been a consistent moron through 50 years in Washington, and now he's a senile one as well. Look, I don't need to be lectured on patriotism by some guy who got out of military service with a case of asthma that disappeared as soon as the draft did. I deployed for my country 2 times. I don't need to be questioned by this hack or any of his hack friends like this clown. This is incredibly destructive. This is incredibly destabilizing. Look, I served in places where the norms fell away, where the system fell apart, where it turned into conflict because one group decided it wanted power and it didn't care what it had to do to get it. That's what these guys are doing. This is dangerous. And it's also, and it's more than dangerous. It's squandering the inheritance that we received from the Americans that came before, who built this country into the freest, most prosperous, most powerful country that ever existed. It's a disgrace. if he wasn't so manifestly senile, I'd expect him to be ashamed of himself. But he can't do that. There's no excuse for his minions, though. They should know better. It's obnoxious.
No, Kurt, you're right, because when you start to break these norms, and you start to do things that we've never done in our past, it's really hard to, put things back together. I mean, because what now you say, well, Democrats have done this to Republicans. Do Republicans go back to the norm, or do Republicans actually do this back to Democrats? I mean, things start to devolve. But, Stephen, this is not the first time Democrats have talked like this. Go back to Barack Obama when he said, Republicans cling to their Bibles and their guns, or Hillary Clinton called Republicans or Trump supporters a basket of deplorables, this demeaning, derogatory language trying to otherize Republicans.
Yeah, so I want to pick up on something to that point that Charlie said, which is that you're setting the stage with this rhetoric to use the awesome power of the state to persecute political dissenters, to persecute traditional Americans, faithful Americans, conservative Americans, Bible-believing Americans. Just like you saw Garland weaponize the Department of Justice to go after parents objecting to critical race theory, you're going to see them using the powers of the security state to surveil Americans, to censor Americans, to silence Americans in full collusion with big tech. And so you are going to see, if we don't throw the radical left out of power, you're going to see our civil liberties stripped away in this country. And I think that's something that should terrify all Americans. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. When Biden talks this way about people he disagrees with, he is saying any tactic, any measure, anything would be justified because these people are evil. That is truly frightening.
You're right, Stephen. We protect the rights of people that we disagree with, adamantly disagree with, because that's the way the system works. Charlie, we're already seeing the effects of what Biden said. Today, RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniels tweeted out this picture writing, the Seminole County GOP office was vandalized overnight. The criminals echoed Biden's fascist slander. The GOP will not be intimidated. Charlie, are you expecting to see more of this with Biden's rhetoric and Democrats acting on that rhetoric?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And we see this on college campuses all the time.
Yeah.
When I visit college campuses, I see the increase of violence and hatred. And you look at what's happening on colleges as almost the Wuhan lab equivalent of the places where this sort of behavior is incubated. Where do you think that idea of where fascism and the idea of fighting fascism comes from? It comes from UC Berkeley and Stanford and Yale. That's where it becomes cool. And then it germinates the rest of society. So unfortunately, I do expect the kind of violence to continue. We have to remain peaceful on our side. But I do think that if they're going to escalate the language, then game on. Like, okay, if you're going to call us a bunch of fascists, we're not going to take that anymore. You're the fascist, Joe Biden, and there's other words we could use as well. We're not going to be like, well, I'd like to go back to the time of 2014. I'm sorry, it's over. That's done. They're calling you the worst thing that could be called in decent political conversation. And what are we going to do? Like, oh, well, we need to find a common ground. No, we have to win. We have to displace these people from power right now. Pay attention. This is the Rubicon that's been crossed when they call half the country fascists.
Government, society, politics, all devolves. Kurt, 20 seconds, final word to you.
Look, Sean, this isn't happening because they're winning. This is happening because they're losing and they're desperate. Look at the approval polls. Biden is polling right up there with monkeypox. Okay, these guys have lost in Virginia. They're losing at the school boards. Hispanic Americans are flocking to the Republican Party because it's the party of faith, family, and the flag, just like Hispanic Americans love. They are desperate. And the problem is when somebody's desperate, he does stupid things. And of course, you multiply that by Joe Biden, who's made a career of doing stupid things. We're going to have a bumpy ride.
You're right. Americans still love freedom and the rule of law. Stephen, Kurt, Charlie, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.